Hey, this is Dave Brenner, guitar player for Theory of a Dead Man. You're listening to Geekcast Radio Network.
You're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Unleash the geek in you.
Hello and welcome to Geekcast Radio's Rockin Radio. This edition of RR features myself, TFG1Mike, and JT from SAskatoon. Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Today, the two of us will be going a million miles an hour because we are all on the edge of a revolution. So what are you waiting for? We are about to make you believe again in Nickelback's new album, No Fixed Address. So get ready for some NB gushing because we're going to be bringing the hammer down on this episode of Geekcast Radio. When did you first hear about No Fixed Address, or when did you first hear about them getting a new album, or going ahead and doing a new album?
Well, it involved a certain scrappy young lad from Kentucky.
Yeah. I think
I first heard about. You were like the first one. Like every morning, I wake up and I look at my phone, as so many members of our society do nowadays, because we are the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike had tweeted. It was either on Facebook or on Twitter. There was. Like, you know, I look at my notifications, I was like, okay, Mike Blanchard tagged you in this post. And I clicked, I was like, oh, sweet, new Nickelback, you know, because it's not that I love Nickelback. You remember the previous episode on the Geekcast Radio when we were doing the music spotlight way back when
right.
You and I gushed, but I don't, like, follow like the website, or I'm constantly looking for news. It's like, oh hey, new Nickelback, awesome. You know, and so I checked it out and listened to like the first track, you know, the Revolution.
Yeah.
Or, God, I'm already forgetting it. And
Edge of a Revolution.
Yeah, Edge of a Revolution. You know, listen to the I think there was like a YouTube link had come up not too long after that, and I checked it out. It's like, yeah, it's standard Nickelback. Not that that's a bad thing, you know, it's just you've kind of heard this sort of tune before, but it's still pretty good nonetheless. And you know, over time checking out stuff, you find the you know, new No Fixed Address's new album, then you see the actual album art, you hear the second song, was it Believe? I think it was the second track they released from it.
No, What Are You Waiting For?
What Are You Waiting For? Yeah. And, you know, I like that one as well. And, you know, I tried getting in. You had sent this link for, like, the listen free on, like, Google Play or iTunes or something. And I think I just missed the time frame that was open. I never got a chance to listen to that. But, you know, day one, you know, Monday, I bought it on my iTunes, and I've listened to it a number of times since. We'll get more into it as we go, but I've really enjoyed it.
For me, it was, I don't necessarily follow their website. I follow them on Twitter and Facebook and that kind of thing. I mean, I look at the website every now and then, but I don't go there like all the time looking for news. When they had released the Greatest Hits disc, which at least it took them a number of years to do so. Let me see here. Where is... Okay, so they released a... when was this? This was Extended Plays. That's Hesher. Best of Nickelback Volume 1. They released it November of last year. November 4th of 2014 or 2013. And, you know, I had tweeted you then about it, or I Facebooked you then about it, and was like, oh, yay, it's everything from Silver Side up to all the right reasons. And, well, and at that point, Here and Now, because When We Stand Together is on there as well. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting because they said, 2013, we're going to have the greatest hits disc and we're going to have a new album. 1 year later,
nope.
we finally get the new album, which is fine. I mean, I'm sure they had.
But they need that. Sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm when it comes to the announcements like that, it's like we're gonna have a greatest hits album and a new one by the end of the year. I'm just like, it's like Kronk and Emperor's New Groove, right? with the finger guns, because just Pinocchio knows just whoop. But no, I never grabbed the physical copy of the greatest hits. I've got I've got my iTunes, and
I didn't even go there. I wasn't going to because there's nothing on it. No offense. I mean, I will support the band as long as it's, stuff I don't already have. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
All right, I'll just run down this. There's 19 tracks. Photograph, How You Remind Me, Burn It to the Ground, Rockstar, Saving Me, Figured You Out, Too Bad, If Today Was Your Last Day, Far Away, Feeling Way Too Damn Good, Someday, Never Again, Lullaby, If Everyone Cared, Gotta Be Somebody, When We Stand Together, Animals, This Afternoon, and Something in Your Mouth. I have all of those tracks on all of the original albums that I've already bought. Okay, I understand the purpose of this greatest hits in case any new fans come in and don't want to buy all the original albums. I get that. But me as a super fan of the band, there's no way in hell I was buying this.
Well, I'm kind of a completist when it comes to collecting stuff I love. I mean, I didn't love Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I still bought the DVD. So that's my mea culpa for this. And it's just to speak briefly about some of these songs. Rockstar is top 5 all-time favorite Nickelback songs. And I was just while I was looking on, like, watching some Nickelback videos last night, I came across one where they're performing Rockstar in London, I think year before, and they brought out Chris Daughtry on stage to right. He joined in on the song, and I was like, how is this not an actual track?
I know, right?
And that's the one complaint I had, and it's only the complaint I have about their greatest hits package, is they didn't have some live stuff or something where Chris Daughtry joined them on stage. Make it a little more worth our while. Make it there's a Bon Jovi hits collection I bought last year, where it's a 2-disc set, and the first disc is a lot of the ones that everyone knows, the top 40 radio hits. And the second disc is other very popular Bon Jovi tracks and a couple of lives, I believe. It's something like that. That's what I would have wanted out of the greatest hits thing here. But I mean, all in all, I still, I bought it because I'm a completist and I love the band. So, although I have found in the last year, whenever I say out loud, I like Nickelback, less and less people look at me with that, are you special? Look at their face. It's just not to... You go, Mike, you go.
Here's the thing. It's these guys, we are, at this point, we're at the end of 2014. Usually around November, December, I start thinking it's 2015. It's just the way my internal clock works because it's the end of the year. We're almost done. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're all, the big fat guy in the red suit's almost here, and then everyone can get drunk on December 31st. Well, you do that every night at your job. No, not really, but you know what I mean.
Well, sometimes after work.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's okay, this is the end of the year. 2014 is over. Nothing really super major is going... Okay, I'm sure there is things that are going to happen, but you know what I mean? It's this year is in the record books for me. So as of right now, we are 1 year and 2 months away from the 20th anniversary of when Nickelback first came on the scene in 1996. 2016 is their 20th anniversary. The band has been around for 20 years. They have put out 8 total studio albums with several extended plays and you get the greatest hits thing. You've got all the DVD packages they've done in 20 years. People can say what they want about the band and what they want about the music. I'm sorry. Nickelback obviously has staying power. They obviously have fans because every single album that they've put out has never failed to sell.
Yeah, and the best way to kind of encapsulate that is while looking up stuff. Like I read the Billboard review of No Fixed Address, which is honestly a lot more. It's it's more balanced than I would have expected. But it's well, Billboard.
It is Billboard. They have to be somewhat impartial.
Yeah, but they also, the reviewer that reviewed Nicki Minaj's Anaconda gave it like 3 stars, and I was like, whatever they paid to Sir Mix-a-Lot to sample Baby Got Back wasn't nearly enough. But that's besides the point. I'll send you the link. We can put it in the show post. I looked up Rolling Stones as a reader's poll, the 10 worst bands of the 90s. Creed was number 1, but that's not really a surprise. And in the article...
Let me just
let me read this.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead. It's
in the little spot there when they're talking about Nickelback, who is at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
It says they ended with, they still sell a lot of concert tickets, and they'll probably have the last left because they're still hugely successful, or they'll still be hugely successful 10 years from now. And that's the thing. You can't satisfy everybody all the time. It's like, I think Nickelback's a great band. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think they're the greatest band in the world. That belongs to Kiss. But, if you like something, you like something. And with an honest, yeah, I like blank. And the way some people try to jump down your throat, oh, how could you like that? Blah, 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 blah. And I was just, okay, that's kind of like somebody commenting on abortion. It's really none of your freaking business. So, we love the band. What else can we say?
So you mentioned Creed. All right. So here's the thing. In the 90s, the biggest rock band battle in the 90s was Creed versus Nickelback, who is going to last the longest. And we all know Scott Stapp went nuts several times in the past 20 some odd years. And Creed tried to make a comeback, it didn't work. But see, Nickelback has never been gone. Creed was gone for a number of years in this history.
Yeah, 90% of the band morphed into Alter Bridge, but...
Well, yeah, and they're much better for it anyway. Because Alter Bridge is amazing. I still haven't listened to their latest album, Fortress. I need to. I haven't yet, though. But, Nickelback, say what you want. Say that every single song sounds the same. I guarantee you cannot say that about all 11 songs here on No Fixed Address. You just can't. This album is by far the biggest departure. Yes, there are your classics that sound like other songs, like Edge of a Revolution, or whatever it's called. It does sound a little bit like some of their other tracks. They're What Are You Waiting For sounds a little bit like a couple of their other ballads, but some of these other songs that we're going to be talking about, they are just so not what you would expect Nickelback to be. I'm gonna put
they spread their wings and try other things.
Absolutely.
It was bound to happen sooner.
So my buddy, our buddy Steve Megatron, 11 days ago or so, tweeted at me and said, "Hey, TFG1Mike, here you go. Things that make you go, what's better, Nickelback or Congress? Nickelback has a 37% rating, Congress has 32. So at least people like Nickelback more than Congress.
Yeah. Well done, Steve. Well done.
So
and there was,
it's
what was that thing? The people you could spend your money buying a deep fried pickle or something. You had sent a picture of me last year. Goddamn Flow Riders on this album. What the hell?
Okay, all right. We're gonna get into that. So
I know. It's just I had to say something. Right? Otherwise,
I know.
Oh.
So how we're gonna do this is we are gonna go track by track, but we're gonna talk about the first 3 tracks, the next 3, and then the final. It's basically gonna be 4 different clips here, folks. And in each clip, I'm going to use the iTunes previews because I view that as, free use. I mean, I'm going to go into the iTunes store and preview each track and record it off my computer, so you'll hear them in the podcast, but it's not the full song. It's just a sample. So, free use, whatever.
Please don't sue us.
Well, look at all the music I put in the music spotlight last year, so no one's come after us yet. So the first 3 tracks we're going to be talking about coming up after the break here is Million Miles an Hour, Edge of a Revolution, and What Are You Waiting For? We'll be back after this. All right, so we start off with tracks 1, 2, and 3. Track 1 is Million Miles an Hour. This should be in a Need for Speed game.
Ooh. Not so sure I agree with you on that. I like A Million Miles an Hour. I do. And this is really the only nitpick I have aside from Flowrider being on the album, is
we'll
that
get to that
weird...
at the end of the...
Yeah. No, I know. We'll get to it. I'm just saying. What bothers me about this track is that weird warbly... Well, not the weird... That weird... It sounds like Chad Kroeger singing from underwater at a couple of points in the song. Like, there's that weird ripple sound over his voice, which I found that took me out of... It took me out of the song a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
but other than that, I really did like. I like the. the way it leads in that first like 20 seconds or so, you get like that weird like electronic wave sound into like a very, I say this with all love, a very traditional Nickelback guitar riff,
Mm-hmm.
leading into the lyrics and all that. It's just that weird warbly sound that they put over Chad Kroeger's voice. It's just takes me out of it a little bit.
Well, I think for me, it's one of those things where I like. Let me see here. Let me open this. Looking at the lyrics, basically, when I said I think this needs to be in a Need for Speed game is, every time you turn on a radio in Need for Speed or Grand Theft Auto, half the time you only hear a half of the song and then it changes to something else or whatever else, unless you do your own custom, you know what I mean? Unless you do your own custom music in the game. But, like, the chorus here, a million miles an hour, we're going a million miles an hour. It is, that kind of thing. That's really what I was thinking of when I was thinking, said it should be in like a racing video game. I like the track. I think it opens up really nicely. It's not it is kind of classic Nickelback, but it is also very different. And I think that watery or that reverb under his voice is why it is so different and not like what we would normally hear. And then we get to track 2, which is Edge of a Revolution. And this is their political song.
It's also the theme song to this year's Survivor Series.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, damn. I haven't watched Raw in a couple of weeks. Others like Gotham and The Blacklist have been taking over my Monday recordings. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, it's about the only draw for me on this year's Survivor Series, and I'm just going to leave it there because this is one of the current state of the WWE is one of those things where I will start ranting for 10 minutes and you will not hear me take a single breath. So, but no, I dig Edge of a Revolution. It's not something they have covered before.
Right.
It's as much as I like it, it's just one of those things. It's like, you guys have done this already a couple of times. It's more politically minded because I read an interview. Chad Kroeger's talking about how this is like reflecting on the fat cats on Wall Street and
right.
Stuff like the war in Ukraine and all that, Putin and Russia and basically how government treats their citizens. And I'm kind of paraphrasing the wiki article here. It's again, this sounds like a standard Nickelback track, but of all the stuff on the album, this is the one that I was like, that made me think, you guys can do better. Not that it's a bad track. It's just, they've done it before, and it's something they take pride in with these more politically and socially minded tracks that come out with a lot of their work in the last 2 or 3 albums.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something about it for some reason. Just like, you guys can do better, can't you?
Well, you look at this one. You look at Edge of a Revolution, and you look at When We Stand Together. Those, When We Stand Together from Here and Now and Edge of a Revolution, they are very similar, even though When We Stand Together is not really political. But it's still taking a stance for Canada, America, the world, whatever, Well,
it's a very socially minded sort of song.
Right. And Edge of a Revolution, it's not a bad song. It really isn't. I really enjoy it. I like it. I think it's kind of funny at certain points. I love how they're saying, hey, look, we are on the edge of a revolution because we do need change in the U.S. I don't know about in Canada. I can't speak for that, but at least in the U.S.
This current political climate.
Yeah, we really do need
Shall we
change
say.
here in the U.S., and we probably need change all over the world. So I'm kind of glad that they did this. I'm not so sure it should have been a lead single, but at least there. I think the reason why they put it as the lead single was that, hey, look, it's Nickelback, but we're not just talking about beer and sex anymore. You know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I like that.
Let's put it this. Let me say it like this. I get where they're coming from with this song, and especially in not knocking your fine country, Mike, but when more
Yeah.
people turn out to voice for Dancing with the Stars in American Idol than actual political elections, something got to be done.
Yeah.
Although
well,
I gladly voted for
it's
Alfonso Ribeiro in Dancing with the Stars this year.
it's God. I okay. So
Sorry,
what are you waiting
did I
for?
derail you, Mike?
Yeah. What are you waiting for? Is the third track on the album. It really, it's like your classic Nickelback ballad, but it really isn't at the same time. I mean, it's it has the same kind of lyrics as other things, kind of like Photograph, kind of like but kind of like Trying Not to Love You from Here and Now, kind of like Someday from The Long Road. But at the same time, it's still very different than a lot of a lot of their other
It's
stuff.
a little more emotional, I think, than some of their other ballad type songs like this. And I hesitate to use the word hopeful, but there's a more a positive. There's more of a positive vibe to this song, I think.
Yeah. Now that I'm reading through the lyrics, I know they didn't do this, but this would have been awesome if they did. What if they had help from Stan Bush to write this song? Because as I'm reading the lyrics,
that would have been so good.
Dude, listen. As I'm reading the lyrics on azlyrics.com here, after the first verse here, it says, "You got to go and reach for the top. Believe in every dream that you got. You're only living once, so tell me, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You know you got to give it your all, and don't be afraid if you fall." This sounds like something Stan Bush would write, because he writes that uplifting, believe in yourself kind of music. And I'm like, oh my God, I would love to see Stan cover this. I would love to hear Stan's version of this song. This would be amazing.
Dude, you know who you're tweeting to after we're done recording. Don't lie. You're like, Stan, ooh, I got a new one. Wait, yeah, no, that's there is a positivity to this track that is real. I find kind of refreshing in that it's not that Nickelback has ever been really negative about stuff. I think there's like the one song on Dark Horse, what was the one I was looking to, Just to Get High. I found that to be like one of their darkest songs, like that there wasn't really a lot of fun to be had with that particular track. But this one, it's not that there's fun, but there is just this pure not optimistic, or there's a positivity to this song that I haven't heard from Nickelback in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is standing out as, front runner for my favorite track on the album. I mean, granted, I've only listened to it 3 times, so I tend to want to take my time before I make that call.
Yeah, so far, because of the lead singles, Edge of a Revolution and What Are You Waiting For, I've listened to them. I've listened to Edge 130. I've listened to this 51. And the rest of the album, I really like. I took super advantage of that iTunes First Play. Even though there are ads in it, I had already heard the entire album like 3 days in a row before we ever, like last week when it first hit, before the album even dropped. What Are You Waiting For? I will say that it is a fun song and is a very uplifting song. I guess I would compare it to maybe Holding On to Heaven from Here and Now, because that was kind of an uplifting song, a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
there
don't
is
Holding
that.
On to Heaven or what was... Oh, God, brain's just not working today. Don't Ever Let It End.
Don't Ever Let It End.
I would like...
Yeah.
I would liken it more to that, because that one's just got that kind of sweet romanticism to it. So,
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear another song selection from the album No Fixed Address from Nickelback. Next, you're going to hear pieces of She Keeps Me Up, Make Me Believe, and Satellite. We'll be back after this.
know it's late, but something's on my mind. It couldn't wait, there's never any time. 'Cause life slips by without a warning, and I'm tired of ignoring all the space that's between you and I. Let's lock the door behind us. They won't find us. Make the whole world wait while we dance around this bedroom like we've only got tonight. Not about to let you go till the morning light. You can be my whole world if I can be a satellite. Let's dance around this bedroom like tonight's our own.
All right, folks. She Keeps Me Up, Make Me Believe Again, and Satellite. She Keeps Me Up. I feel like we're in a 70s roller rink, dude.
It's got that.
Did you hear the 70s twang music in the?
Well, yeah, it's got that. It's got that. There's more bass in this song than other Nickelback songs. It's got that funk, guitar playing there, and it makes this song a lot more. It's more fun. It gives it that beat, that energy.
Right. I want to know who the female background vocalist is on this, just because I'd like to know who it is.
Yeah, it certainly couldn't be anybody intimately aligned with Chad Kroeger, could it?
You think it's Avril?
Yeah. Can you think of a better suspect? It could happen.
It's possible. I mean, and okay, since we brought her up, I know I have no stake in what the band does or doesn't do in their professional career other than the fact that I purchased their music. I don't know these four guys from, a rock, but I'm sorry, I get super defensive and super pissed when I read iTunes reviews of people, like reviews that aren't even reviews. Somebody will write like a one-word thing for the title of the review, and then they'll just write one word, "Oh crap," or "Oh what." That's not a review. If you're going to write an iTunes review, sit there and write a half of a paragraph giving your opinion why you like or don't like the goddamn thing. Don't just sit there and write poop, because that just aggregates wrong reviews on iTunes. But I will say with the iTunes thing, and we brought up Avril, one of the negative iTunes reviews, like, it's like they're letting Avril write these songs. It's so bad. And I'm like, wait, what? Seriously? And she is not on any of the... I'm looking on the Wikipedia. Her name is nowhere on the writing credits on these 11 songs. So, I mean, hey, if it is her as the background singer, that's fine. I mean, I like this track. I like She Keeps Me Up. I think it's a really, really good track. I don't even think I can... Yeah. I don't think I can compare it to anything else that they've done to this point, and it's because of that 70s bass.
Well, yeah, and like I said, beginning of the show there, this album is one of their... I guess you could say this is like the first album that they've really departed from like the standard Nickelback formula, where they're experimenting a little bit and they're trying new things and everything like that. And this is like the first track on the album that really drives that point home. Like, have you ever conceived of Nickelback and funk in the same idea before? It kind of works. It's not a particularly strong song, I think, but it's got this lyrical flow that I can't help but enjoy. And like, What Are You Waiting For? It is probably like the second most kind of positive song on there. I know I've read a couple of reviews about the album where they mention this song in particular, and it's like, oh, and there's this song that delves into the standard Nickelback trope of sex, drugs, and strippers. I was like, okay, I don't really get the strippers in there. I mean, there's some of the lyrics speak of, having relations on the kitchen counter, but name me one Nickelback album that doesn't have a song involving that activity, and really, is that such a bad thing? So, but no, She Keeps Me Up it's a great track. It's not the strongest one in the album, but it's not the worst, so.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, lyrically, I would compare it to Midnight Queen from Here and Now. Because it's the same kind of lyric where, he's talking about sex and whatever else, so... That's what I would really probably compare it to. Maybe Shakin' Hands, but Shakin' Hands from Dark Horse was more of a story about a hooker than anything else. All right, next up, we've got Make Me Believe Again. This kind of reminded me of, like, the Silver Side Up days. A little bit.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a throwback for them. Like... what's the word I'm looking for? There's more... I wouldn't say, Silver Side Up is... This kind of throws me back to How You Remind Me a bit. Because you can really... I think you can really hear the passion in Chad Kroeger's voice and his performance here. He's not emoting, but you can feel that intensity, for lack of a better word, come out of this. And it's one that I particularly enjoyed listening on this album. Like I would say that this is up there with. I'm just gonna say this is my favorite track on the album. Because this is like, this just it hits all the major points for me in a good song. It's got that sort of quality to it that gets the blood flowing, kind of pumps me up a little bit. And that's one of my favorite things about a lot of Nickelback songs is that like they get me pumped up like that. They get me going, give me that burst of energy, and that's why I like this song, because it gets me going like that. So, I mean, there's a couple of other songs here that I really like. Like What Are You Waiting For? And She Keeps Me Up. I love those songs, but this is the one that I would listen to on repeat more than any other song on the album.
Right. And then the final track in this block of the podcast is Satellite. Satellite is probably their most poppy song on the album. Probably. Because of the lyrics. I mean, it really reminds me of the olden day, and I say olden days, I mean 15, 16 years ago when the dating revolution of the internet really started. That's what this reminds me of, is some internet chat room, private chat, Yahoo private chat, whatever. That's what it reminds me of, is like an old instant message conversation between a man and a woman. That's what this reminds me of.
Oh God, don't remind me.
I know, right?
I listening to this song, I can't help but think that Satellite is this album's lullaby from here and now.
Yep.
It's maybe not as emotionally intensive as Lullaby. I mean, especially when you see the music video.
Right.
But it's got that kind of... there's almost a little bit of a kind of a melancholy, just a little bit. There's a bit of a melancholy sadness to the song.
Right.
I don't think it's like exclusively supposed to be sad or tragic or anything like that, but that quality, like the same quality that was inherent in Lullaby, is in Satellite. And this is one of those kind of slower, more emotional songs that Nickelback does very well, I think. And I really enjoyed this one as well, but I never got the internet dating thing that you're referencing there.
Well, he's talking
I
about...
understand the example, but...
He's in the lyrics, he's talking about, and I'm, okay, the beginning of the song...
being in the same orbit as this chick.
Right. He says in the beginning of the opening lyric is, I know it's late, but something's on my mind. I couldn't wait. There's never any time. Because life slips by without warning, and I'm tired of ignoring all the space bits between you and I. So, space between you and I, that is one of the parts of the lyric that reminds me of a long-distance relationship or an internet relationship. Let's lock the door behind us. They won't find us. Make the whole world wait while we dance around this bedroom like we've only got tonight. So, it's kind of like one of those first date kind of meetings or something. I don't know, whatever. It's just... Whatever.
I think... maybe in terms of it being Satellite in the distance between, maybe it's like the sense I got listening to this song was, Chad's character in the song is singing or talking to this chick, and it's like, it's one of the, I get this strong will they won't they, it's like these two friends dancing around, do they want to take it to the next level sort of concept. So
right,
like that's the vibe I got. But again, like you said with the internet dating thing, it's just these two that are trying to get together, but there's this massive space between them.
Yeah.
But like I said, with a lot of these more emotional songs like this that Nickelback does so well, this is up there in that category.
Absolutely. All right, we are going to take another quick break. The next three songs you're going to hear, actually two songs you're going to hear is, next three, sorry. Get 'Em Up, The Hammer's Coming Down, and Miss You. So we'll be back after this.
would you do if the strength was found? Stay right beside me when the ground starts shaking. The only sound you hear is the breath we're taking. If there is one thing I can promise you, we'll see the light again. This is the calm before the coming storm. This is the red sky morning without a warning. Now this is the fight that we've been waiting for, and there's no sense in running. The hammer's coming down. I just woke up from a dream today. Time gone by, but you still look the same. Felt so real to have you back with me. It's just too bad, it's just another dream.
All right, we are back, and it is time to get 'em up. Okay, this one I almost got pissed because I'm thinking, wait a second, they're sitting here singing about some guys going to rob a bank. I'm like, wait, are they like? I know teenagers listen to this band, they follow this band, I know they do, and I'm thinking that's kind of a bad message. Then I listen to the rest of the song, I'm like, oh, they're going for the irony here. This is basically, and I hate to say this, and I know you're going to groan when I say this, Get 'Em Up is Nickelback's 2014 reimagining of Alanis Morissette's Ironic. Because this song is nothing but irony, because the fact of the matter is, they try to rob a bank on Sunday. And they don't. Oh, God. This song.
I'm not going to completely disagree with you, but I think you're missing the point of the Alanis Morissette song, Mike.
No, well, yeah, but that shit happens all the time. That's...
Yeah, because a lot of people rob banks on Sundays.
No. What I'm saying, like, the Alanis stuff happens, like, raining on your wedding day. You can't control that crap.
Yeah, but you can't control trying to rob a bank on Sunday.
Well, true. But, like, it really, like, you know, they do all this preparing, they do this practicing, and then, oh, shit, none of us realized it was Sunday. And, oh, shit, there's the cops, run! It's like, this, I would say, is their comedy song of the album. Because once you really listen to it a few times, you realize how crazy, stupid, hilarious it is of the situation that they're writing about. And I'm wondering what even possessed them to write this song. What's wrong?
No, I'm just trying to think. Nothing's wrong. I'm just trying to think of the right... I wouldn't... There is an element of comedy to the song in the lyrics and the story they're putting down.
Right.
I would liken this more to, say, Shaking Hands from Dark Horse. Mm-hmm. Like, in terms of the story and that. And it's definitely got that more kind of grungy Nickelback sound, like an because we keep going back to their previous works. It's got some younger Nickelback to it, with the growl of the guitars in here, which really add to the song. Well, add to the song. What's the word I'm looking for? Adding to the style of this piece.
Right.
It's just...
What?
This is the only one that I just don't have an opinion on. Like, I can't see for, like for yay or for nay on this song. Like, it's a song.
Yeah.
It's here. I'm listening to it. It's just, it doesn't evoke any of particularly strong emotional response. Unlike another song that we'll get to further down this list.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I like the music behind it. I like the instrumentals. I like their riffs on it. The story is all right. It just, I don't know. It's kind of like, this entire song reminds me of the woman that reminds me of the man that would duck out of the way of Larry throwing a pie, and then it hits the fat woman in the back. Like, this entire song reminds me of a Three Stooges moment. Seriously. It really does, because these guys, they do all this... these guys do all this planning, and they don't realize what day it is. It's like, seriously? It's so strange. All right. Yeah. So the Hammers Coming Down is the next song in the list. It is track 8 on the album. This one is interesting. I feel like Kevin Flynn is going to go knock on the sky or something. That's kind of what it does, because
it's got like that. It does. There's nothing on the wiki article that it says, but it sounds like they kind of did a little bit had an orchestra backing them up, especially like in the first. And this one's got like this build throughout the song, like, there's just like this intensity that's building in the background, when they get to the chorus, and it's just boom, and this is another one of the songs in the album, like, She Keeps Me Up and that Believe. It's got that pump up factor for me, that pump up the volume factor that, gets me going. And it's another song that there's this power there that it's very telling. Like, this is something that Nickelback excels at, because they do these great tracks that just have this energy to it that you can't help but like.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't necessarily call it a poppy song.
Oh no, this is more of a
This is like it's a rock song, but it's got this infectious energy to it that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Next up, So next up on the album is track 9, which is Miss You. This is more of like Trying Not to Love You from Here and Now. This might be their next ballad single that they put out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would assume they would probably use this one as, to get the girls to buy the album.
We love you.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. This for me is the one where it's kind of like I'm kind of indifferent to it. I enjoy it. I think it's a good song, but at the same time, I don't know. It just kind of flows from the Hammers coming down to this, and then we'll get into, once we take the next break, we'll get into the final 2 songs of the album. But I mean, I like Miss You. It's go ahead.
You're right. This is very much Trying Not to Love You. Like, it's cut from that same kind of cloth, for lack of a better term. And I've said that a lot this recording, I realize. But it's got that emotional hook to you. Again, this is another song like, What Are You Waiting For and Believe. It's got that quality. It's got that great Nickelback hook that you just want to sit still and just listen to the song and just enjoy the song. And it, very often, like when I'm at work and good songs come on like this, I take a seat and just listen to the music, and just kind of de-stress, unclench for a little bit. And that's something I've always loved about Nickelback. I mean, they've always got these great, hard-driving, energy-filled songs, but they do, let's take a moment sort of songs. And that's this song on this album.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to take one final break. You're going to hear snippets of the final 2 songs on the albums, tracks 10 and 11. We'll be back after this.
just don't get along. But the whiskey and me both agree maybe we're both just better off. Well, the preacher believes I don't need all of these demons hanging on. But we both know if they don't, I'll get lonely, need a few to tag along. Hanging here by a thread, hear a voice inside my head. Well, I lay beside you every night and dread the day you might be gone. She said, in case you hadn't noticed that, played second fiddle to the bottom for a little too long. No, and I ain't about to anymore.
All right, folks, the final two songs on the album, Got Me Running Round and Sister Sin. Okay, so before I let JT go on his rant, before I let you go on your rant, I do have to say, there are two albums that came out this year that have collaborations on them that I just completely question. The first ever Rockin Radio episode of Geekcast Radio that I did with Jesse Matrix Prime for Theory of a Dead Man, Savages. On Savages, the self-titled track of the album has a spoken word track in it from Mr. Alice Cooper. Now, as I said in that Rockin' Radio episode of the podcast, I was expecting Tyler Connolly and Alice Cooper to sing together as a duet, more than just have Alice talking on the track, and I didn't particularly care for it. I wish there was a version of Savages, the song without the spoken word in it. When Nickelback's No Fixed Address, which we were talking about now, came out, and I didn't even I kind of looked at the track listing, but I didn't really pay super close attention to it. So when I started listening to the iTunes First Play and this song came up, I'm like, okay, I'm digging this song. We get somewhere around, I think it's the 2:41 to just over the 3-minute mark. What the fuck is rap doing in my Nickelback? Seriously, what the fuck? And then it's flow. Go ahead.
No, it's just you finish and then
This it's Flo Rida, and I'm like, okay. Not that I have any disrespect for rap music or hip hop or any of that. It's just not my thing, and I would rather actually be able to hear the lyrics than just hear somebody have because that's half the time when I listen to rap. That's what it sounds. Rap is a really, really fast, horrible Charlie Brown adult to me at this point. So part of the lyric in this is, God, in Flo Rida's section of the song, hey, what a perfect Mrs. Mommy, she'll eat McDonald's, taste delicious, scream Madonna, knock this Swiss, so I guess she did it. I don't know if Chad wrote this for him or what the hell. I don't even know how this collaboration, I applaud Nickelback for being completely different than any other album that they did and even having a rapper on here. I just think it was the wrong rapper and the wrong damn song. Go ahead.
This is the worst track on the album. Now, I want to preface this by saying I like Flo Rida. I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind listening to his tracks because unlike 90% of most of the rappers on the radio right now, you can understand what he's saying. He enunciates. I appreciate that. And he has a certain proclivity in a lot of his tracks to sing about getting his
pistol sucked.
Exactly. And I'm not oh God, that's disgusting or anything. It's just Why? Okay, I'm better now. I'm going to be professional. I'm not going to. Okay, first of all, Chad, what the hell were you smoking when if Chad Kroger didn't come up with this collabo, the record company did, and they should be hung by their short and curlies for ever daring to suggest this. I'm sorry, I just don't like this one. I like the fact that they brought like the funk guitar back on this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get that wah 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 kind of sound, and it's not. And again, Flow Rider's very clear. You hear the words he's saying. They don't make a lick of bloody sense, but you hear what he's saying.
Right.
I'm sorry. I just don't like this track, and it's not that it's like bad or anything. It's just unlike the other tracks on the album. I don't get what I don't understand what they're trying to say here. What is the quote unquote narrative? I just don't get it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm hitting the epic fail button. I'm sorry. I just don't like this track.
I think outside of the Flow Rider stuff, I think the point of the track is the fact that this woman that whoever the character's in a relationship with has got this guy running around and around and around and jumping through so many hoops. And I think it's a narrative on how some women treat guys.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. That's my own I don't know. I wasn't the writer. I'm not in the band. I'm just putting my own personal spin on it. That's just from reading the lyrics. That's what I think it is, where she is basically toying with the guy, and she is, basically, she is saying, you can come with me and blah. It's almost like she's got a guy, with a dog collar on, dragging him behind her at this point. The Flow Rider section.
Okay, I can get that.
The Flow Rider section makes zero sense. It really makes zero sense. And it's very, again, like I said on the other Rockin Radio episode a minute ago, I would love to hear this song like I would love to hear Theory of a Dead Man's Savages without the collaboration. Like if you took Flow Rider's vocal out of this, I would really love the song. Because it's a really catchy beat and catchy song and all that, but...
It's just, yeah, like I get that now. I that never really clicked in my head that it's, I mean, it seems obvious now that you've said it out loud like that. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what they're going for. Okay, I get that. But ultimately, like, I just don't like this track. And it's probably, I'm going to guess it's 90% like the Flow Rider thing. It's like, I'm not against two completely separate genres coming together. I mean, this is not this is not peanut butter and chocolate. This is peanut butter and crushed gravel. I personally cannot enjoy this combination, and God love you if you do, folks. But I'm sorry.
This one, it doesn't remind me of this, but I'm going to use this as an example. Okay. You've heard Theory's Savages, right? You've heard that album, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have. Sorry.
This song is Nickelback's Stretch of the Imagination, where they wanted to reach out into another genre, and I think they failed with it because of the Flow Rider lyrics in it. However, Theory succeeded because... Not that I think they would ever hit the country charts, but they have Living My Life Like a Country Song on the album Savages. And it is a very country-sounding Theory of a Dead Man rock band. And it works. It works very well. This one, however, as I said, it just kind of doesn't work. And when I first heard this, I was... It took me a while, and it took me about 6 or 7 times listening to this song over and over to appreciate everything outside of the Flow Rider track.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of the lyric, he is talking about, talking about, yeah, the lady and me both agree some days we just don't get along, but the whiskey and me both agree maybe we should just be better off. With the preacher believes that I'll meet one of these demons hanging on, but oh no, that's Sister Sin. Sorry. But in Got Me Running Around, it's a song about where he's in love with this girl, and then she just drags him along after a while, and it's kind of like that puppy dog love where you'll think of God, I hate to bring this up, but think of 10 Things I Hate About You, and think of Cameron's love for Bianca, where I burn, I pine, it's like, and Charlie, what's his name? Crap, David Krumholtz's character is like, yeah, move on. Put her in your spank bank and move on. That's really what this song is like. All right,
yeah, I get that. It's just, it's not that there is any non-redeeming factor. It's just, I just don't like it. So
yeah, no, well, I'm not trying to convince you to like it. I'm just trying to enlighten you as to what I personally think is going on in the song. So, all right, final track on it is on No Fixed Address is Sister Sin. It's interesting. Give it that, I guess.
See, this one, I really enjoyed Sister Sin because it starts off with this kind of bluegrass kind of twang to it. And this one, I kind of got this what they're getting at with the story here. How this guy's sound, at least what I'm guessing is that they're going for this guy singing about, like, he's fallen off the wagon. He's met this chick and he's fallen off the wagon. He's losing this sobriety. Because they have the lyric, I've played second fiddle to the bottle for a little too long. And I think that's what he meets this woman that kind of turns it around for him. And it's because by the end of the song, she's left from reading, he's lie beside you every night and every day you might be gone. So it's like he's met this woman that, is here today, could be gone tomorrow, but she's turned him around in some respect. And I really like that because throughout the song, it's got that bluegrass twang, like that guitar riff and stomp kind of sound going. And I really enjoyed that in this one. I know. How about you?
I mean, I like it. I think it's a really cool track. It's a nice little ending track when you have this on repeat because you then go into that weird opening to Million Miles an Hour. But no, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's an interesting story. I love the twanginess to it. I just wish that they would do more. Like, there's this giant conspiracy amongst Nickelback fans that Chad has some weird affinity for the number 11. I know All the Right Reasons had a number of bonus track additions and stuff like that, but I love it when my favorite rock bands give me more than what I expect. Like, I mean, Theory of a Dead Man with the bonus track edition for The Truth Is, that was like 18, 19 songs, and the original track is like, the original album is like 13 or 12 or whatever. And I get it. I understand it. Chad has said in the past that, hey, if the record company is going to pay us to do 11 songs, that's what we're going to do. And that's fine. That's more than fine because they're putting in the hard work and whatever else. I just wish that sometimes we would get a little bit more. Like, All the Right Reasons, there was like live versions of Photograph on that bonus track edition that they had released a couple of years later after the initial release and stuff like that. Overall, I dig the album. I would have to say my favorite songs are Million Miles an Hour, She Keeps Me Up, Make Me Believe Again, and Satellite. So those are my 4 favorites. I also like The Hammer's Coming Down, so 5 favorites. What about you?
What Are You Waiting For? She Keeps Me Up, Make Me Believe Again, Get 'Em Up, I mean, I pretty much love the whole album, like
Right.
unequivocally. Like I said, Edge of a Revolution. I like. It's just I love it, but I don't love it. And stuff like that. Satellite, I enjoy, not entirely like Edge of a Revolution. Got Me Running Around, Can Die in a Fire, and that's without just why just of all the guys, why did you? I'm sorry, it's just like I like Flowrider, but I don't like Flowrider, and you guys could have done so much better for a collaboration. What happened to you? Okay, I'm good. It's just I don't like. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. Like everyone's got those few songs in life that it's not that they're bad songs. They just hit some emotional chord that is just like fuck you, and that's got me running around.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Let's see here. I'm not sure why, but this album is the first album since forever that they are not on Roadrunner Records. They left Roadrunner in 2013. And they're now with Republic Records for this album. What I don't get is, doesn't he have his own damn record label? Doesn't he have 604 Records? Or did they fold that into Roadrunner? Did they sell that to Roadrunner? That's what I'm wondering. Like,
not entirely sure. Just looking that up here about Roadrunner Records, because I thought they had started Roadrunner back in the day.
Well,
or something like that. Okay, no, it was launched in 1980 in the Netherlands, so then that goes right out the bloody window.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just one of those
happens.
things.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot.
Yep.
It's not okay. I'm looking. Okay, yeah, they're not even on the list of that's current Roadrunner artists, and
yeah.
Holy shit, they ran Dragon Force. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of good, looking at Wikipedia for 604, Serge Kroger, Attorney Johnson, founded in 2002. The records are distributed in Canada by Universal Music Group. 604 area codes the Lower Mainland, which includes the city of Surrey, British Columbia, where the company's offices are located. Companion label, Light Organ Records. See, I don't understand. They have all this stuff on 604, but I don't get why. Instead of don't get me wrong, I like that they went to Republic, but it's just kind of weird that they're no longer with Roadrunner, because I've known them to be with Roadrunner their entire career. Maybe the Roadrunner execs didn't like what they were pumping out for No Fixed Address. I guess we should talk about the album title. No Fixed Address, it is basically because they recorded the album all over the place. They weren't ever settled in one place to record it, so...
Yeah. No, there's that, and I think also... And again, this isn't a bad thing, that this isn't a traditional Nickelback album, in that they, not only did they not record it in any one place, the sound isn't in any one place. This is, again, like we said earlier, this is the first album where they really tried to stretch their wings and fly into other, genres with, they're experimenting a little bit. And it's not, overall, it's not, I like that No Fixed Address, because, it goes one of two ways. And I think that is a really smart thing, especially with the album art with it looks like they stole a bit from the Universal Movies logo, with the lights coming off the world and all that. But I think that's a really smart idea to go with No Fixed Address like that, because they're not married to any one location. They're not married to any one specific genre. I mean, there's a lot of tracks on here that are very Nickelback, but some of the sounds in those tracks are not aren't stuff that we've heard before. So
right. All right, so because it's probably going to be 2017 or 2018 before we get around to doing another Nickelback album. Out of the 8 albums, how would you rank them as of right now? First to last.
Favorite album from Nickelback would... It's kind of tied for first place, like Silver Side Up and Here and Now. Because Silver Side Up was very early in their career, like in the studio albums. And Here and Now is definitely one of my favorites. I'm going to say number 1 is a split between Silver Side Up and Here and Now. Then it would be All the Right Reasons, The Long Road. No Fixed Address would come before Dark Horse, but it would come after The State, because I think The State, that was like just as they were, again, not an experimental album, but that's where they started to break away from their original grungy sound from stuff like, Hesher and Curb. Curb would be on the bottom of the list. Not that I think it's necessarily a bad album. It's just, it's a very raw Nickelback, and I enjoy it, but it's not one that I go back to very often.
Curb is where I think they've... it's where I think that they have... they were... Curb was their experimental first album. Okay, Hesher is the kind of hidden first album. Curb is kind of the, experimental, because Just For on Curb is just like Just For on Silver Side Up. It's just spelled differently. It's the same damn song. For me, I would put Here and Now and All the Right Reasons at number 1. I would put The Long Road at number 2. I'd put No Fixed Address at number 3. Dark Horse Silver Side Up at number 4. Dark Horse at number 5. And then The State. The Curb I don't really look at, because there are like three or four tracks out of those, whatever it is, 11 or 12 tracks. What is it? Out of those 12 tracks, there's only like 3 tracks off it that I really like. We should also mention that isn't this the first album? No Fixed Address is the first one that they've done without Joey Moy, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, because Joey Moy was producer on Here and Now, but he's not producer on No Fixed Address. So,
I'm just wondering if they'll ever work with Mutt Lange again, because
for Dark Horse, yeah.
Well, I mean, it like I said, it's not one of my all-time favorites, but I really enjoyed a lot of the tracks on Dark Horse. Mm-hmm. Like Burn It to the Ground. In lieu of playing Mortal Kombat after work, I'll listen to that song 2 or 3 times if I had a particularly stressful evening. So, But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. And Mutt Lange is just a guy who's had a lot of success with various rock acts over the years.
Right.
And I gotta say, I think the one positive thing I'll put on Got Me Running Around is definitely shows the playfulness and the fun that Chad Kroeger can have with a song. I will be honest and say I did enjoy that part of the song, and that's also like to speak of the whole thing with Nickelback playing at I don't think it was the Super Bowl, but they were the NFL Thanksgiving Day game. Was it?
Oh, yeah, a couple of years
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they had, like, Detroit basically had, like, there was, like, a petition to ban Nickelback from playing at the halftime show. And in response, the band had a sense of humor about it. they did that Funny or Die video where they're dressing up like was it, I think Mike Kroger was dressed up as like Dave Coulier, and I forget who it was, and then somebody was dressed up as like Magnum PI, and Chad comes in like bargain basement high school play production RoboCop costume, which basically looks like 3 miles of duct tape, some cardboard, and silver paint, and just how he ends the video, I'm keeping the costume, and he walks out. You know, they had some fun with this album, and I think that's the thing I take away the most from No Fixed Address is it's a lot more fun than I think some people might realize.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, just my highest recommendation is give it a listen. You know, not every album can please everybody. Certain tracks on here certainly didn't please me. Yeah. But it's a decent, it's not a great, but it's a decent Nickelback album.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we'll see what the future holds.
Yep, because I'll be listening to this for a while. I will say right now, when I do my top list of favorite albums of 2014, this is not going to be anywhere near number 1 or number 2. Might be number 3 or number 4. I like this album. I like a lot of the songs on here, but it's not what I was expecting, which is good. But as a longtime fan, I was expecting a little bit less of that. Like I'm one of those longtime Nickelback fans that I kind of expect them to do the same shit over and over and over again. So, all right. Coming up next time on Geekcast Radio's feed, we are going to be going retro. That's right. We're returning to the retro podcast. We're going to have 3 episodes of retro. So that's coming up, and then we will do our GCR episode 75, which is our 5-year anniversary kind of recap and kind of our 2014 year in review show. So that's coming up. Where can the people find you online, sir?
They can find, if I might plug a show, you can find me every week on the podcast Comic Connoisseurs I do with Ben, the host from Animation Aficionados, where, you know, we go over that week's comic books, and then we talk about a particular comic-inspired topic and have generally good and decent conversations about that. And you can also find me on the Twitter sphere at JT from Saskatoon.
Awesome. So Unleash the Geek in You. Go check out Nickelback's No Fixed Address. If anyone wants to buy me tickets to their February 25th show here in Louisville, Kentucky at the KFC Yum Center, send email to feedback at TFG1Mike@gmail.com. Yeah, I really want to go to that goddamn show. The fucking VIP tickets are like $200. The fucking VIP tickets are like $250. Like a standard ticket in like the upper section is like $32.60 a piece plus tax, which is fine, but still, yeah. Shoot me an email if anyone wants to send me to the Nickelback show coming to Louisville, Kentucky in February of 2015. TFG1Mike@gmail.com. Unleash the Geek in You. We will catch you next time.
You've just listened to Geekcast Radio on the Geekcast Radio Network. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. First, visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our different podcasts. Second, you can rate our show and leave us feedback in iTunes. Third, follow us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio. Fourth, become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekcastRadio. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you are leaving the message for and your name. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.